Narcissists are, in my opinion, more than just chronic liars. They are lies. I mean, their whole life is just a lie. Everything about them is fake. It's phony. Something has to be askew in their way of thinking to make it validating. And so they don't actually talk straight. They're not people who would shoot from the hip, so to speak. So when they say things to us, how do we know what they really mean? Well, I came up with 5 phrases. And I'm guessing there may be 5 million such phrases or more, but these are the ones that I've heard in my life. I'm pushing 70 years old. I've learned a thing or two. And these are some of the phrases that I've actually heard narcissists say, or an iteration of them. And I just want to share them with you so that maybe you can learn a little bit to translate on your own the misdirection that you get from a narcissist. Number 1 is people are so arrogant. I had a dear Christian friend, put that in quotes, dear Christian friend, and put a line through it, just mark it out. It was all phony. Again, their lives are fake. But he had this issue that he would accuse other people of being arrogant. I mean, not occasionally, just all the time. Everybody. It turns out that I didn't know it at the time, but it turns out that anybody to whom he felt inferior, he would accuse of being arrogant. That's the way he dealt with it. Okay, what do you call that? That's where you transition yourself onto someone else. Projection. So I was listening to him call other people arrogant, and later I discovered that he was calling me arrogant or accusing me of being arrogant to other people. No one has ever, as far as I know, no one has ever said that about me before. No time, no place, never ever, that I know of. Now, because I have Asperger's syndrome, some people think I come across as aloof maybe, but I've never heard anybody accuse me flat out of being arrogant. One of the telltale signs is one time I got an email from a friend, and a good friend just out of nowhere. He was accusing me of being arrogant. And I knew immediately that he had been talking to this narcissist. He was in the process of becoming a flying monkey, a narcissist by proxy. So I was able to do some intervention and let this guy know what the truth was, what was really going on. And by the way, the truth, as you know this, if you watch my videos, you know the truth is the one thing that narcissists hate the most. So when you hear a narcissist accuse other people of being arrogant, there's one of two things going on here. The other people actually are arrogant, or the narcissist is really saying, I feel inferior to these people. That is the translation. Now, chances are the second translation is the most accurate, is the most likely, because when somebody accuses, just about everybody of being arrogant, everyone has a little bit of, self-esteem. That's not arrogance. And there are arrogant people out there, but not all of them. So when you see this pattern developing and it just doesn't seem to subside ever, that is a good indication, in my opinion, that the narcissist has divorced reality. He's living in his little make-believe world, or her little make-believe world, in which she wants to feel superior because, well, she feels or he feels inferior. And this is one of the ways they play the game. Number 2 is, let me tell you what's wrong with you. They may not say it in those exact words, but they point out flaws in just about everything. It's kind of like your life is a never-ending string of typos, or grammatical errors, or wrong turns, or bad decisions, according to them. And it is their responsibility to, according to them, because they want to feel superior, to point out all your flaws. And that makes them feel superior. They want to feel superior because they don't. They know they're not. So they try to compensate through abject criticism. Everything you do. I once heard a narcissist or a guy suspected being a narcissist, and he was talking about a mutual friend, and his accusation was the guy wasn't good with money. He wasn't talking to the guy. He was talking to me about the guy. Triangulation. And I thought about that. I said, this narcissist guy that's talking to me, he's homeless, doesn't have a job. He quit his job because he doesn't like to be controlled, doesn't want anybody to have their thumb be under anybody's thumb. He actually said that, or something akin to it. This guy was horrible with money. He didn't have any. If he did have any, he'd blow it. But yet he found his fault in someone else. So when they say, let me point out what is wrong with you or what is wrong with somebody else, how do you translate that? Well, what they're saying is my self-esteem is running on empty. I need a refill. I need to take a little bit of self-worth from somebody else and put it in me. I need to boost my ego because it's running flat. I'm having some problems here. So when they say, let me tell you what's wrong with you, and then fill in the blank of whatever it is they say, just keep in mind that what they're really saying is that their self-esteem is on empty. Number three, I hear this probably, I was going to say probably more than anything else, but maybe I should say as much as anything else. But narcissists that I've heard will sometimes say, this is all just a big misunderstanding. Let me explain. Now, when they say that, it's because they've been caught. They've been caught stealing, lying, cheating, just doing narcissistic things. And somebody calls them out on it, or somebody takes notice of it, and so they've got to explain it away. And they have some really bizarre ways they explain this. I knew one guy, I think I told you about him before, that he lived in this make-believe world of conspiracy theories. And he lived in a make-believe world where he was being victimized by the people that he victimized. And so when somebody would call him out on it, he would, let me explain that. Let me tell you what the real story is. Then he'd give you a fake story. But he's very convincing. Or he was, I don't even know if the guy's still alive or not, but he was very convincing. People would actually believe him. I'm guessing that maybe 80% of the people that he triangulated, those people that he tried to draw within his sphere of influence, actually believed him. Maybe 20% could see through it. And those 20% typically were the people who knew both me and him, so they knew what was up. So when they say, it's just a big misunderstanding, let me explain, or some iteration of that, may not be word for word. What they are really saying is, oh my goodness, the truth is leaking out. I got to put a plug in that hole. It's kind of like the little Dutch boy, there was a leak in the dike and he put his finger in it. Thank you, Dutch boy, for saving whatever, the town or the county or whatever. But that's how the narcissist responds when truth starts leaking through the dam that he has built. He sees, man, if this keeps on going, I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to have to face the fact that I'm a big zero. So when they say big misunderstanding, what does that mean again? It means the truth is leaking out. Number 4. Sometimes a narcissist will tell you that you are better than the previous, fill in the blank. Could be the previous friend, could be the previous business associate, could be the previous coworker, could be the previous mate if it's a love relationship, or a fake love relationship. But they had somebody before that they victimized, and then they discarded, so now they need fresh supply, and guess who they got? You. Lucky you. One of the ways that they want to bind you to them, keep you in their chicken coop so you can supply them with eggs, is they tell you how superior you are relative to this other person. Double whammy. He is doing or she is doing 2 things. Number 1, she is puffing your ego, and at the same time, she is tearing down the other person. So accomplishes 2 things at one time, 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak. So what is the translation? The translation is, when a narcissist says this, is he or she is saying, you know what? I sucked the other guy dry. There was no more supply to get out of him. I disbanded him. I discarded him, rather. He's gone, or she's gone totally, completely out of my life. So, how do I explain that? I can't tell you that I destroyed the person, that I abused the person, thinking like a narcissist. So I'll come up with this alternate story. And that is, I just needed somebody who was superior, somebody a little better than that other person. And that person, guess what? It's you. And so our head swells up a little bit. And yeah, I guess I am a little better than, these other people. And why do we think that way? Well, I don't know, but the narcissist understands how we think, theory of mind, and so they play on it. Number 6. This is one that you may not hear often, but from one particular narcissist, okay, I think two. I heard this more times than I care to have heard, and that is the phrase, or something akin to it, I have a business proposition for you. How do you translate that? Well, the translation is, I want to scam you because you are gullible. Now, by the way, I got to throw this in because it's important. Just because somebody has a business idea or business proposition doesn't mean they're narcissistic, doesn't mean that they are going to rip you off. But a smart person, an intelligent person, will consider the possibilities that this individual might be a crook, or maybe they're not deceitful, maybe they're just dumb. I mean, maybe they don't know how to do this business transaction. So anytime somebody comes to you with a business idea, this is just my opinion, take it for what it's worth, but you got to consider that a lot of times these things just don't work out. It's not always nefarious. With a narcissist, it almost always is. But with others, it's not because they're trying to rip you off or scam you or leave you desolate. But that is sometimes the outcome nonetheless. And so still, you got to be very careful when you deal with these people. Got to take away for you. Here's what I got. You don't break up with a narcissist. They break up with you. What exactly do I mean by that? Well, if you ever discard a narcissist, their response is, how dare you? You don't discard me. I discard you. You don't break up with me. If it's a love interest, I break up with you. You're not in control here. I'm in control here. They take great offense when you discard them because they are the ones who do the discarding, not you. You see those two rectangles on the screen? If you like what you hear, want to keep the conversation going, all you got to do is click on one of those two rectangles and we just keep on talking, you and I together. If not, well, thanks for stopping by and we will see you guys next time.